You know, people wonder why people are disillusioned with politics, and why, particularly with the Democratic Party, and why there's a faction that has grown up in order to attack that party full bore. I always say, vote for the person who represents your interests. You know what doesn't represent my interests? Continuing war. This idea of war profiteering. The Yemen War has killed tens of thousands. They tried to lower the number, but a realistic estimate had that number up near around 100,000. And that doesn't even, you're getting to this number of starvation and people who are dying of disease and who are dying from direct military conflict, be it civilians. And particularly the number of civilians that were killed has been massive. Now, Bernie Sanders has put through a bill that, even though it has a loophole, seeks to restrain the president's action on the war in Yemen. I've argued that it doesn't necessarily do that, because the bill has a loophole with regard that allows the president to go fight Al-Qaeda, which is what the president is doing now. But I mean, they can use, meaning evidence can come up that says, hey, there's Al-Qaeda in these areas, in which case we need to go fight Al-Qaeda. But at the very least, in an overt way, from an optics standpoint, it seeks to restrain the president's actions. The House of Representatives hasn't brought this up for a vote. And if they do bring it up for a vote, it's possible that this, the bill would also be passed. Donald Trump would not sign that bill. But nevertheless, the bill may be passed. Thing is, a farm bill gets put up in the House of Representatives. And attached to that farm bill is a provision that says we will not allow a vote on the Yemen War for this year. Now, the Republican Party almost totally voted for this, but there were, I think, 16 defectors who chose not to vote for it. Democrats got this over the finish line, meaning this bill passed with this particular provision because 5 Democrats defected. And not just 5 Democrats defected, some didn't even show up for the vote. They're out there murdering and starving Yemenis. And instead of them, you would think that this is the party that's been bitching and moaning about this for the past year, didn't say squat about it when their man was in office and when their man greenlit this war in the first place. Didn't show up for the vote. And not just didn't show up for the vote, 5 Democrats got it over the finish line. This particular Democrat was a gentleman named Peterson, said he didn't know what the hell was going on. Right here. This was a conversation that Colin Peterson had with the Washington Post, Jeff Stein, about why he voted for this. Can you explain your vote for the Yemen resolution? Yeah, it didn't belong there. Why not? Couldn't you just have come back and done another vote? No, we worked for 2 years on this farm bill, and I'll be damned if I let anyone screw it up. Do you have any thoughts about the war in Yemen? I don't know a damn thing about it, and it should be in there, and it didn't do anything anyway. What do you mean by that? All it did say was that they couldn't have a vote on something, didn't authorize anything. It didn't, our party gets off on tangents. It's ridiculous. You're murdering people. You're outright murdering people in another country. Us, if it wasn't for our support, if it wasn't for our planes, if it wasn't for our logistics, and not even that, we found out, because of incompetence, that we've had special forces that have been running operations in that area, doing the work of that theocratic regime. His vote was to preserve this. The 5 Democrats that voted to preserve this. Let's see, where's the Jacobin? Let's get into the names of the Democrats themselves. Let's see. Blue Dog Democrats. The 5 Democrats that voted for the resolution: Jim Costa, outgoing chairman for the conservative Blue Dog Coalition and member of the House Agricultural Committee. Let's see, someone who does get a lot of money from the defense sector is Maryland Representative Dutch Ruppelsberger. A national security hawk has long been targeted by the defense industries while serving in powerful positions. Minnesota Representative Colin Peterson, that's the gentleman who didn't know what the hell he was voting on. Georgia Representative David Scott, who likewise voted for the bill, serves alongside Peterson in the House Agricultural Committee. Long viewed with suspicion by local progressives. This, I guarantee you, will not help. And finally, Al Lawson, Trump-friendly congressman in a safe Democratic seat, this time in Florida. An added head-scratching twist to all of this was a failure to vote at all by 7 Democrats. Several of them progressive anti-war lawmakers who have specifically registered their opposition to this war and who have tipped the scales had they voted. Meaning, if they were there, they would have been able to kill the bill. This bill passed because of the Democratic Party. Yes, the Republican Party voted more so en masse for it, but without the Democratic Party, it would have been impossible for this bill to pass. Now, for people who are like, just vote blue no matter who, fuck that. Nonsense. Each and every one of these people should be voted out of their seat, including the Democrats that didn't show up to make this vote. Again, there should be a red line on some of these issues. Murdering and starving Yemenis at a point where you finally get, yes, I get it, a politically biased agreement that this is somewhat problematic, but that these guys wouldn't even show up for the goddamn vote, or that you have 5 Democrats that voted with Republicans in order to put this provision into the bill in the first place. This is embarrassing. And yeah, I agree with Jacobin on this, that this is a new low for the Democratic Party that was already, in my estimate, pretty low to begin with. Vote blue no matter who, my ass. Vote for the person who represents your interests. Each and every one of these people should be driven out of their seats. I need to go, but I wanted to flag this because I was amazed by this. I saw this, I think it was yesterday or day before, and I had put this on my list of stories to go over. I'll leave this here. I'll put the article at the bottom. I don't want to stay too long on this one. If you guys enjoy the content, please feel free to share, like, subscribe. You can always support through Patreon. Just be aware, if it wasn't for Democrat support, this bill would not have passed. Democrats have voted to prolong the starvation and the murder of Yemenis with a farm bill. Thanks all.